Hello friends, welcome to Economics Junction, and in this video I will be discussing some of the mathematical questions which were asked in the exam, right? So I have got some requests from people, from my subscribers. They asked me to make a video on some of the questions that they find very difficult, or they could not solve it, or they are probably confused, right? So let's begin. Okay, the first question I'll be taking is in this question there is a neoclassical production function is given, and we have to find out the growth rate of technology when the growth rate of production, labor and capital are 7%, 8% and 3%, with a labor share of 40% and the capital share of 60% in the production. So basically we have to find the total factor productivity, right? Okay, so four options are given here: 11%, 4%, 10% and 2%, right? Okay. Okay, what we can do is we can construct a Cobb-Douglas production function. So what is a Cobb-Douglas production function? It is a particular kind of a production functions. It is used to represent the technological relationship between amounts of two or more inputs, for example capital and labor, and the amount of output that can be produced by those inputs, right? So here Y is the total production, A is the total factor productivity, L is labor, K is capital, and beta and alpha are output elasticity of labor and capital respectively, right? Okay, now let's look at how we can solve this question. So the production function is Y is A L to the power beta and K to the power alpha, right? So we take log. So when we take log, we find that we can deconstruct this right hand side, right? So it will become like this: log A, alpha log K, beta log L. Then it's very simple. We have to put the numbers, the amounts given in the question, right? So Y here is total production. So it is given here, it is 7%, right? Total production is 7%. So put it here 7%. Then our question is to find the total factor productivity. So we have to find this log A, right? Then our capital elasticity is given as 60%. This is the share. So we have to write it in percentage terms. So it will become 0.60. Then capital growth rate is given as 3%, right? 3% is capital growth rate. So 3% we put it here. Similarly, 40% is given for labor share. So it will become 0.40, and 8% is given as labor growth rate, right? This is 8%. Then I put it here. Then it's very simple. We have to simplify it. 7% equals to log A plus it will become 1.8% and it will become 0.32. Okay. Then we sum it. It will become 5%. Then we solve this and it will become 7% minus 5% equal to 2%. So this will be our answer. 2% will be the answer, right? Okay, now let's look at the next question. The next question, we have to find consumer surplus. So you know guys, consumer surplus is basically a monetary gain obtained by the consumer because they purchase a commodity for a price that is less than the highest price that they will be willing to pay. So it is a gain for the consumer, that is why it is called consumer surplus, and it is given by Marshall, right? So it is the difference between maximum price a consumer is willing to pay minus the actual price they do pay, right? So some formulas are there to find out the consumer surplus. One of them is this: we multiply half into the height and base of the graph, right? So let's see the question. Question is, demand function is given here, p is equal to 27 minus 3x minus x square, and consumer surplus is given. Consumer surplus we have to find where x is equal to 3, right? So we will be using the integration method, okay, not the graphical method. Integration method will be more simpler, okay? So this is the formula, okay? This is the integration, okay. So when you put the demand function here, we have to put the demand function here, okay, like this, and we have to multiply p into x, okay, p into x, because x is quantity, so it is product, okay. If it is q, then we have to multiply p into q, but it is x here, so it is p into x. So x is given as 3, okay, and p we have to find. So when we put the amount of x, we substitute the amount of x here, then we find that it is 9, right? It's very simple, guys. Then we will multiply 9 into 3 here, okay, and similarly we apply the integration method here. So it will become as 27x minus 3x square by 2 minus x cube, x to the power 3 divided by 3, okay. Then we simplify it here. When we simplify, it will become like this, okay. We'll simplify again, and finally we will get this amount, 63 divided by 2, and we will get the answer as 31.5. So this will be the answer, right? Okay, now let's look at easy question. It's a very simple question, okay. It is related to index number. So what are index number? Index numbers are basically, they are used to measure the changes in one or more variable over a period of time, okay. So they are basically stated as a percentage of a base figure, okay. So the famous index numbers, like the weighted aggregative index numbers, are Laspeyres method, Pasteure's method, and Fisher's ideal method. So we will discuss it some other time. Now let's look at the question here. Okay, so a series is given here. So these are the index number for the series, okay. For 2014 it is 100, for 2015 it is 120, for 2016 it is 126. Now the question is, the base year is shifted to year 2015. Now we have to find the value of index number in 2016. So the formula we know is index number is equal to current year divided by base year multiplied by 100, right? So the current year here is 2016, okay. This is the current year, and the base year is shifted to 2015, so it will be the denominator 2015 into 100. So what is the value of 2016? So the index number for 2016 is 126, so we put it here, 126, and for the base year 2015 it is 120, okay, and then multiply it by 100. We will get 630 by 6, and when we simplify it we will get 105, okay. So this will be the answer, 105, number 1, okay. This is not necessary, this step I have given to make you understand, okay. Now let's look at the next question. Okay, this is a probability related question, right? Okay, so a box is there and there are 10 bulbs, so 4 of which are defective, 3 bulbs are drawn randomly without replacement. We have to find the probability that all the 3 bulbs are defective. Okay, 3 bulbs are drawn from 10 bulbs, okay, 4 of which are defective, and we have to find the probability that we are drawing 3 bulbs and all of the 3 bulbs are defective. So what we have to observe here is that it is without replacement. Okay, so usually what we study is the probability without replacement, in which the objectives drawn in one event is replaced back. Okay, it does not impact the size of the sample. Okay, I'm very sorry, I think I have spoken about probability with replacement. So probability with replacement is when it does not impact the size of the sample, but in probability without replacement, it does not, it reduces the number of objects drawn with each number. It reduces. Okay, it reduces the sample. Okay, now let's look at the question. So number of bulbs are 10, out of which 4 are defective. So how many are non-defective? 6 will be the non-defective, because defective plus non-defective should be total. So 4 plus 6 is 10, right? Now we have to find 3 bulbs are drawn and all are defective. Okay, we have to find the probability. So first we will try to find the total ways, or the number of ways possible. Okay, so the number of ways possible will be written as 10C3. Why? Because we are drawing 3 bulbs out of 10. Okay, and 3 defective bulbs, like this favorable ways, would be written as 4C3 7C0. Why? Because we are drawing 4 are defective. Okay, from 4 defective, 3 will be the ways. Okay, and out of 7 it will be 0. So we have to observe here that this 4 and 7 should equal the total of bulbs 10, and this should equal what we are drawing. So it is 3, right? So the probability will be favorable ways divided by total ways. So the favorable ways is 4C3 into 7C0, and we know that C0 is 1. Okay, now let's find out the probability. So when we simplify this 4C3, so it will become like this, 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, then we will get 4. Similarly for 10C3, it will be like this, 10 into 9 into 8 into 7, and it will be like this, so it will become 120. Okay, so it's very simple. Now we have to divide. It will be 4 divided by 120, so it will be 1 by 30, right? So this will be the answer. Okay, now let's look at a different question. It is related to regression. So a correlation coefficient between dependent and independent variables y and x is given as 0.7. So what will be the percentage of variation in y explained by x, right? So the coefficient of correlation, which is r. So first we have to understand what is correlation coefficient of, or correlation coefficient, or coefficient of correlation. So they are basically same. So a correlation coefficient is some type of correlation. So it implies a statistical relationship between two variables, right? So they imply some kind of a strength between the two variables. So they can assume values ranging from -1 to +1, where +1 will indicate a strong correlation, okay, and -1 will define a strong non-correlation. Okay, now let's look at the question. Coefficient of correlation R is 0.7. We have to find the percentage of variation in y explained by x. So this is basically coefficient of determination. Okay, so this is the proportion of variance in the independent variable which is predictable from the independent variable. Okay, so we have to find the percentage of variation in y. Okay, y is a dependent variable which is explained by x, that is independent variable. So it is basically coefficient of determination, right? Okay, now coefficient of determination is formula is r square. So we will square this 0.7, it will become 0.49. So in percentage terms it will become 0.49 by 100 into 100, so it will be 49%. Okay, now let's look at the next question, question number 90. Okay, it is very simple, I think. A monopolist linear demand curve P is given as P is equal to 100 minus 4Q, and cost function is given as C is equal to 50 plus 20Q. We have to find out the profit maximizing output for the monopolist. So we know that profit will be maximized when MR is equal to MC. This is the equilibrium condition. Okay, so first, to find MR, we have to find TR, that is total revenue. So total revenue is P into Q. So P is basically AR, average revenue. So P into Q, when you make it, it will be we will multiply P, that is 100 minus 4Q into Q. It will become 100Q minus 4Q square. Then we can simply find out MR. So it will be derivative of this. Okay, so it will give you 100 minus 8Q. Similarly, for finding out MC, we will find the derivative of 50 plus 20Q. So it will become 20. Okay, now we will simply put the values here. MR is equal to MC. So 100 minus 8Q is equal to 20. 8Q is equal to 80 and Q will become 10. So it will be the answer. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the question number 25. So this is the last question that I will be discussing, and many people have requested me to explain this question. Okay, this question is kind of very confusing. Okay, so the question is, the rate of growth of nominal GDP is 15% per annum. Okay, and the annual rate of growth of GDP deflator, it is 5%. And if the population grows at 2% per annum, what will be the annual growth rate of per capita real GDP? Okay, the stress is on per capita, right? So we know the formula of GDP deflator. Okay, it is GDP nominal divided by GDP real into 100. But we won't be needing this formula because the GDP deflator is already given. It is 5%, and also the nominal GDP is given as 15%. So we know one formula, that population growth rate is real GDP growth rate minus rate of growth of per capita real GDP, and this is what we are looking for. So rate of growth of per capita real GDP equals real GDP growth rate minus population growth rate. Okay, so real GDP growth rate is, it is nominal GDP minus GDP deflator. So it will give you 15% minus 5% equals 10%. Population growth rate is already given, it is 2%. So we can easily find out that it is 10% minus 2%. So the answer we will get is 8%, right? Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you like this video and you will continue watching our videos and also subscribe to our channel for new content. Thank you.